There are certain marketing questions which are asked in every personal interview and which you as an MBA are expected to know. Hi guys, I'm Shivani Saxena and welcome to my channel S for Shivani, a one-stop destination for all your MBA needs. In this video, I have compiled a list of 25 such questions covering 7 topics and more than 40 concepts. If you watch this one video in entirety, you can be assured of the academic bit of your marketing interview. But before continuing to watch, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because it really motivates me to make more such videos. Starting with the first question. What are ATL and BTL activities? You should know about who coined the word and the origin of the concepts. So for this particular one, you should know that the terms ATL and BTL were first used in 1954 by Procter and Gamble, and it was when they started paying differently for direct and indirect marketing efforts. They wanted to have certain different rates for their suppliers and advertisers. So that is how this concept came into being. You should also know what is the line here. So line here is a separation between direct marketing from the higher level brand marketing. It is important to understand the purpose for each of these marketing. So firstly, ATL marketing has very broad reach and it is basically you can say untargeted. So let's say a campaign or an advertisement that you see on television or radio, that is basically ATL activity. And the purpose of this activity is mostly for brand building, awareness generation. The BTL activity stands for below the line marketing, and it is basically very specific, very targeted. You know who are your target audience, who will be receiving that particular communication, and the activity is customized for them. So for example, you might have seen certain mall activations, let's say a bike on display, or you might have seen a coupon distribution or the leaflets that you get at your house. Those are very area specific and they have very specific schemes that is being advertised in them. So that is what is BTL. And there is a new concept of TTL, which stands for through the line. Now what does this mean? It means that the company is using both ATL and BTL activities to combine the benefits of both the marketing strategies and reaching the audience in the best possible manner. For example, you might be seeing ads of Netflix's new arrivals, new original shows on television, as well as there are certain recommendations based on past history and past interactions in the Netflix account itself. So that is how both ATL and BTL activities are combined. Question number 2. Now this particular question is always asked in the interviews. Why? Because it not just helps to check your marketing acumen, but it also helps the interviewer get a glimpse into your thought process and how you're applying whatever you have learned in MBA into the actual scenario. So you basically dissect an ad and draw lessons from it, and that is what the interviewer wants to see. So firstly, before you talk about any campaign, you should know what is the company, what is the product, what is the ad agency who designed that particular ad, and it will be an add-on if you know if the ad film won any awards for the same. So there are two things here. Firstly, the company, when they know that they have to create an ad for a product, the company sends a communication brief to the ad agency. The ad agency analyzes whatever is written in the brief. They get to understand what is the product, what the company wants to make ad on, and then they create concepts. They imagine how the ad will be depicted, where the position will be, where the product will be positioned, and that is what they write in the creative brief and send it to the company to review and confirm. So the creative brief basically mentions the purpose of the ad. So for example, let me tell you, if you have a look at all the ads of Oreo biscuits, you'll find there is a common theme of a relationship between a father and the kids. There is no mother scene, or even if the mother is seen, the mother is secondary to the scene, because the aim of the biscuit is that these little moments where the father is taking out time from his schedule and spending time with kids, those little moments are really precious, and how Oreo is acting as an enabler in preserving those moments. So that is how the entire idea of Oreo campaigns has come and depicted in the ad film. Third question, how would you measure success of a digital marketing campaign? So guys, whenever you are studying marketing, always know about this particular topic, because it's very important. Firstly, you should know that whatever campaign you are creating, each campaign has a specific purpose. It could be to create awareness, to build consideration, or to result in purchase. And accordingly, there are different actions which are required to be done. So for example, if it is just about awareness, maybe then views or page visits would be enough. But if it is about purchase, then you should be collecting leads from the customers, should be collecting their information, and you should be tracking how they are engaging with your posts. So accordingly, with each purpose, there's a different action which is required and expected. You should also know about certain metrics like bounce rate. Basically, it is the percentage of people who leave your website after viewing only one page. Then there is average session time, which is how much time a person is spending on your page, and you can track it for different web pages as well. And then, so let's say you are doing a Facebook campaign or a Google campaign, you need to pay these entities some money based on the action that you're expecting from them. So this payment could be in CPC, CPM, or CPV. Coming to the next question, what is the meaning of these terms and when are they used? You should know their full forms. You should know that the objective of CPM is basically to impact as many people as possible, and it is used to promote a brand and generate awareness. Whereas CPC is used to attract people to click on the ads and basically interact with the post, and the objective here is more traffic. Whereas cost per acquisition basically results in a sale or a transaction. So here the end result is conversion. There is also another concept called CPL, which is cost per lead. So basically in this case, you are paying the social media pages to basically capture information of the customers in the form of leads. And so let's say you can post a form on your website or on the Facebook page, wherein the customer fills in his or her email ID, phone number, and then you use that information to push your marketing campaigns or call them about their which stage of buying they are and how likely are they to buy your product. Question 5. What are the keywords you would use for a campaign on your mobile phone? So firstly, understand the meaning of keywords. Keywords are basically words which your potential customers might be typing in the search engine to look for relevant products and services, and it could be yours as well. Before you jump on to writing any random keywords, you should know that there are various tools available, one of them being the Google Keyword Planner. There are other various free websites also which help you figure out the keywords for your product, your category, based on the country where you reside. You can also use them. Now, whenever any such question is asked, you should put on the hat of the customer and think how you go about searching about products and buying them. So let's say if you're looking for a mobile phone, what are the kind of words you would use to search? So there could be general words like mobile phone, best mobile phone under 20,000 or whatever your budget is, best phones in India, best camera phones if you're looking for a specific feature. I'm just giving an example. Best phones to buy in 2020, 2021 and things like these. And you could also be using specific keywords like Samsung phones, OnePlus phones, and the names of the competitors. So all these are important keywords because these are the words which you as a customer are using to look for a product. So here I've just typed OnePlus mobile phone and now I'll see what are the keywords which Keyword Planner recommends to me. Question number 6. How would you improve our SEO rankings? So read about search engine optimization. It is a very hot topic these days. And if you want to be a marketer in true sense, you should be knowing about all these things. So now I have here stated just 5 factors which are very important to improve SEO rankings. One is how fast your website loads. So there are various online free websites which you can use to calculate the speed of your website. Then you should also see if you are using keywords which are widely searched, widely used by people, and also the long tail keywords. So basically long tail keywords is, let me give you an example. So if you go to YouTube and you type in the search box 1 or 2 words, you get a whole list, drop down list of suggestions. So that is basically the long tail keywords. Your website should be mobile friendly. The content should be long so that people spend more time on it. So as per research, websites which have a video embedded, people tend to spend more time watching that video, and hence the SEO ranking also improves. Question 7. What is the difference between sales and marketing? A very important one, very basic one. You should know the orientation. So basically sales is very product oriented, marketing is customer oriented. Sales has a short term focus of immediate conversion, whereas marketing has a long term objective of building a positive customer opinion about the product or the company. Marketing is also about understanding the needs of the customers, designing the product accordingly, and when the sale is made, taking a feedback from them and using that feedback to modify the products or use it to make another product. And the result of sales is profit maximization, whereas the result of marketing is customer satisfaction, which is measured using the Net Promoter Score. Question 8. Draw a BCG matrix of a product. So basically this framework is very widely used, and in any interview you could be expected to know the different product lines of the company, to know what product falls, how each of the product is doing in the market, and then map them on this particular BCG matrix. So here is a sample of HUL's products which you can see. Just pause the video, have a look, and move ahead. Question number 9. A customer has posted a negative review on the company's Facebook page and you are in charge of responding. How will you handle it? Again, something which is very rampant these days, and this is an important part of crisis management or firefighting. So the first response should be, you need to be timely, you need to be very quick with the response. Never ever ignore such negative comments. Apologize, but do not make any false promises. You should also be personalizing the message and assure the person who is complaining that action will be taken, the complaint has been lodged, the damage repair will be done, or the person will be redirected to the right portal where they will be taken care of. And you should request them after their complaint is resolved that, sir or ma'am, can you please now post a positive reply telling about how we helped you solve your problem. What are your favorite marketing blogs? So here are my favorite 6. You can choose yours. If you do not know anything, just say these. Question 11. Who are baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z? Again, a very commonly asked question. So whenever you are making customer personas in marketing, this is always an expectation that this is something that you will be knowing and you will be able to answer in the interview. Question 12. Now it's not that you might be given situational questions always. You could be directly asked to elaborate on few popular marketing frameworks and models. So here are some of my recommendations. This is something which you should be knowing. When you are reading about these models and frameworks, always prepare an example in your mind to explain them in a better way. Question 13. What is hyper-segmentation? Now let me give an example. Suppose you visit Flipkart's page frequently. Whatever activity you're doing on the website, all of it is being tracked. And let's say if you are buying socks today, and if you leave that socks just like that without taking any decision on it, and then let's say when you go to Facebook, there also you see the same socks that you have been seeing on the Flipkart's website. So all of your behavior on the website is being tracked real time, and there are behavioral models of yours which are being created to predict your next purchase. And this is being done with the help of sophisticated technology such as artificial intelligence. So this is basically hyper-segmentation, wherein you go beyond the traditional geographic, psychographic, demographic segmentations to customizing the recommendations to each individual. Another example of it would be Netflix. So based on whatever you have been watching, you get the recommendations. Here you should also read about HUL's winning in many India's initiative. So you can read about how the tea leaves differ from north, south, east, west, how the washing powder, the composition of it differs as per the quality of hardness and softness of water in each part of the country. Read about that. So now let me tell you an interesting story of a very, micro level segmentation that is done in retail. The retail stores have been studying the behavior of customers, and one such store found out that the men who were between the age of 30 to 40 years, and they came to purchase diapers for their kids because their wives asked them to, these men, this particular customer persona, is most likely to buy beer from the same store. And so when the grocery store found this out, they started keeping the beer close to the diapers, and boom, there was an instant 35% increase in sales of both. Question number 14. What is the product life cycle? Where will you position our product XYZ? So firstly, you should know how the graph looks. So there are 4 stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Now each of these stages demand a separate strategy. So for example, when the product is new in the market, you can go with skimming price, wherein you set a high level price in the beginning and you then reduce the price later. Or you can start with penetration by setting a low price, penetrating fast in the market, defeating the competitors, and then raising the price in future. In the growth phase, you need to improve the product quality constantly, keep adding new features. Let's say if it's a drink, adding new flavors, support the services to grow your market share. You can also enter new market segments and tap them. So let's say if you are an IKEA, you can start with metro cities now, but later you'll have to proceed to tier 1 and tier 2 cities as well. And since there is a pressure on distribution, you need to make sure that you are with the right set of distributors. In the maturity phase, the product has reached its sales peak, and now there is kind of saturation, and so you need to figure out if you have to change your marketing tactics a bit. So you can go with the market modification, wherein you, let's say, move into a new segment altogether, or you can go with product modification. And when the product has reached a decline phase, you have to reduce your promotional expenditure. You have to reduce the number of distributors handling it. You might even have to cut down on the price so that the customers are still buying it. And you will have to slowly discard that product and bring a new product in the market to replace it. And here I've also highlighted, like before introduction, what goes on is the new development phase. And here I've highlighted the use of design thinking principles, which is empathize, define, ITH, prototype, test, and then introduce the product. Question 15. What is a net promoter score? What should be an ideal NPS? So firstly, as you can see in the diagram, there is just one question which is asked to the customers who have availed your service. How likely are you to recommend our service to your friends and family? And then a rating is taken from them on a scale of 1 to 10. Now those who rate 9 or 10 are known as promoters. Those who rate 7 and 8 are known as passives, and those who rate 6 and below are known as detractors. And NPS is calculated as percentage of promoters minus percentage of detractors. Now you should know that Bain is the company that started this, and now almost every company in any sector that you can think of is starting to implement NPS. Question 16. What is the difference between line and brand extension? When you think of line extension, it is basically within the same product category, you are adding more items and the brand name remains the same. So for example, you can come up with new flavors, forms, colors and sizes. Example, if you think of Lay's, then there is Lay's tomato and Lay's onion. Lay's onion is my favorite. You can tell me yours in the comment section. Then there is Chhota Coke for ₹5 from the half-liter bottle. So this is basically line extension. Now brand extension is when a new product is launched in a different product category. So now with COVID, you know that almost every company which has been into health and wellness has launched their sanitizers. Question 17, what is a private brand? So basically products which are manufactured or provided by one company but they carry the label of another company are known as private labels because the other company has asked the first company to make it for them. Now here I am talking about the retailers consisting of both the online and offline ones have access to a lot of data on the customers who come to the stores. Now this data could be about what kind of color works in a region, what fabric moves the fastest off the shelves, which kind of apparel is most in demand, which kind of food item is most in demand, in what season, in what month, in what week, in what time of the day. So all this information is being captured by these retailers, and that is why these retailers have now started coming up with their own brands, tapping on all the information, all the data that they have access to. So these private labels are basically cost competitive. They are quite cheap compared to the branded ones so as to entice the customers to buy them. The retailers do not have to incur any marketing cost because they can themselves put it on display in their retail showroom and they do not have to spend on anything. Also, earlier it used to be the case that let's say there is HUL or P&G, since their products were high in demand, they used to have a bargaining power over the retailers to command the space that they want, to command the price they want to charge. But with these private labels, so let's say Big Bazaar comes up with its own label, Big Bazaar would definitely want to prioritize giving some space to its product, leaving a lesser space for these big FMCG companies. Retailers now feel even more empowered with private labels. On the other hand, there is a certain customer perception that these private labels are not as good as the branded ones, and since it is being priced at a lesser price than the branded one, so there is also some doubt on the quality of the product. So read more about it, read more about the future of private labels in India. And here I have given an example of future retails: Tasty Treat, Clean Mate, which is a toilet cleaner, E-Zone brands. Amazon now have their Amazon Essential, Amazon Fresh, Revly. Question 18, what is surrogate marketing? So basically, you should know about the sin goods and the banned goods. So there are certain goods which you cannot openly advertise in the Indian market, and why? Because there is certain Indian law which prohibits it. So the Cable Television Network Regulations Act 1995 prevents alcohol brands from advertising their individual products directly. But still, India witnesses surrogate advertising to the tune of roughly 600 to 800 crores across mediums annually, out of which 70% has been on television. So, surrogate marketing is just a way to advertise these products without actually advertising these products. So, you might have heard of Imperial Blues Men Will Be Men music CDs, but is there any music CD? No. Now here I have shown very recent data from TAM Addicts, which shows the top 5 brands that are using TV, print, radio and digital to advertise their products. Question 19, why do we need distributors in channels? Firstly, the company cannot be anywhere because that involves a lot of cost in setting up a shop and in hiring people and in managing people, and that is why they rely on distributors. Also, the people who apply to become distributors are experts in their fields and they have a very good knowledge about localized demands because they are in direct touch with the customers and hence push marketing works at its best in case of distributors. Now with changing times, there have been a lot of different models. So you might have heard of B2B, B2C. Now there is a growing demand for D2C models. So the D2C, which stands for direct to customer brands, are companies that are basically setting up the foundation around digital marketing channels of their own rather than relying on online marketplaces like Flipkart or Amazon or some auction sites. So the aim is to basically eliminate the middlemen and regain control of the entire supply chain. And since there are no middlemen, then you save a lot of cost which you have to give as commission to these middlemen. So there is cost savings which can be passed on to the customers in the form of reduced prices. You might be aware of a brand called Mama Earth, and it is an online retailer company which is one of the first among the D2C companies to successfully provide and communicate its baby care products. Some other D2C brands are Ye Naturals, Bewakoof.com, you might have heard of it, Bombay Shirt Company, Ustra, and others. So read more about them, read about their business models and how they have been able to optimize their cost while maximizing their reach. Question 20, what is the difference between advertising, PR and sales promotion? So this is a very easy one, but still people get confused. Make sure you read about the differences in their objectives, expectations, techniques which are used, control. So for example, in advertising, the company has full control, but PR can go either way. But nowadays you also have paid PRs, but that is easily seen by people and not believed by them. So you can also think of some failure PR events which you saw and which you feel you can highlight. Question 21. Some important service marketing frameworks. So here I have highlighted 4. I will be discussing one more in the next slide. So basically know about the RATER scale. RATER scale stands for reliability, assurance, tangibles, empathy and responsiveness. And this model is basically used to measure customer expectations on these 5 dimensions, which are basically the factors that the customers use to evaluate a service that they are receiving. Then there is 7 P's. So in addition to the 4 P's of marketing, there are 3 more P's: people, process and physical evidence. Then there is service blueprint, which is basically a diagram which is used to design service. So by designing service, I mean that let's say a customer comes to your store. At what point will they be greeted? At what point will they be asked their orders? How will that order be processed at the back of, in the kitchen? Then who will be the visible employees? Who will be the invisible employees who will be working at the back end making those products and providing that particular service? So it basically maps the entire process of service delivery by listing all the activities that happen at each stage. And lastly, there is a service marketing triangle which you can see on the screen. It basically has 3 points: company, providers and customers, and then how they interact with each other through different kinds of marketing. Question 22. What are the 5 gaps in service quality? So this is the most asked question in service marketing. Read about the ServQual model, read about the 5 gaps and what they mean and how they can be filled. Question 23. What do you know about the predatory pricing? So you might be aware of some disputes going on between the e-commerce players and the offline traditional retailers regarding their deep discounting practices. You might also be aware of how Zomato and Swiggy, they have been charging quite low, and so as to get the customers to order from them and not the other restaurants who are not listed. So the Competition Act of 2002 outlaws the predatory pricing and treats it as an abuse of dominant position, which is prohibited under section 4. You might also be knowing that, so let's say when Jio came, they had such low prices for their data packs that they almost wiped the competitors out of the market. And that is what is meant by the predatory behavior. That is, the other players who are in the market are almost erased and they become non-existent because this particular player has all the confidence of the people. Question 24. What will be the different ways to market a product in rural areas? So you should be knowing about the 4 A's, which stand for affordability, that is about the price; availability, where can the customers get it; awareness, how much know about it; and acceptability means whatever features the product has, if it is something which can be adopted by people. You can discuss how both marketings are different in terms of prices, in terms of packing as well. So you might be getting smaller SKUs of products when it comes to rural areas compared to cities, where you can let's say get family packs. Also, the time of launch is also different. So in rural areas, basically new product marketing is done during the harvest season, or there are certain festivals which are very specific to the particular territory. Also, the media channels that we'll be using will be very different. In cities, maybe social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these can work, but in rural areas you might be relying on, let's say, only WhatsApp or Facebook when it comes to digital. And then there are other media channels, or forums like the fairs, the religious fairs, the trade fairs, the wall paintings, the use of influencers like Gram Panchayat, the fertilizer distributors, e-Chopal members, and all these people, the rich farmers who have a command over the people whom people look up to. So these influencers also act as important people to push your products. And also relying on methods like radio, loudspeakers, and use of door-to-door campaigners. Question 25. What are the 4 C's? So basically 4P has now evolved to 4 C's, with coming in of digitization, with evolving customer behaviors. So now the focus is not on product but on consumer. So product has been replaced by consumer. The focus is not on price but on cost, not on the place, which was the location bit, but on convenience, and not on promotion, which was more of a push strategy kind of way, but on communication, which is more about inbound marketing, more about educating the customers about the brand. So you should know how with changing times marketing is also evolving, and you should be able to map out all these frameworks for the company in the interview of which you are sitting. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you had a lot of content to go through and start your research. I'm sure you got to learn a lot of new things as well. If you have any feedback about the content, about the video, let me know about that in the comment section, because it will really mean a lot for me, and it acts as a great motivation booster for me to read those comments, to see the likes. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and also share the link of the videos with your friends so that more and more people benefit from these. All the best for your interview, and I am sure you're going to rock it.